In one of the most chilling scenes of Leaving Neverland, James recalls the mock wedding the pair had, complete with a wedding ring which he still owns and shows to the camera. He claims Jackson would reward him with jewelry for engaging in sexual acts. "It's still hard for me to not blame myself," he says, with his hands shaking as he holds the many trinkets. A quote from Secrets Will Eat You Up inside the shocking Michael Jackson documentary, Leaving Neverland. Most people are ignorant about the sexual function of a body that once but now does not have testicles. Given the scale of that ignorance, I wasn't really surprised when so many people, including Joe Rogan, struggled to understand the mechanics of Michael Jackson abusing children, even if he had been chemically castrated. The victims describe what would happen when Michael Jackson got himself there. It's a really tough listen given the context. The most graphic descriptions for me involve Michael using the kids to pleasure himself, not just to feel good for a while but never go anywhere. Even without testicles, a person can still climax. They just don't ejaculate. The orgasm itself, though, was never about the ejaculation. The ejaculation was a consequence of the orgasm. Most people who once had testicles but now do not will continue to have active sexual function. If those people continue to have a penis, that penis can continue to get erect. For many people without testicles, their penis will remain a source of stimulation that leads to orgasm.
No one knew why, with all the rumors that everybody had ever heard about Michael Jackson, that anybody would let their kids go and hang out with him. Like,
Dude, when you watch the documentary, you're like, these parents are fucking morons.
I don't get it, man.
2 of the fathers have committed suicide since this happened.
Jesus Christ.
Wait, but we don't have any hard evidence that he was molesting kids, right? All we have is rumors.
Well, here's the thing.
And in court, he was acquitted.
Here's the problem. The doctor, his very doctor, said that he was chemically castrated.
Talking about the guy who killed him.
Yes.
Yeah.
That guy said he was chemically castrated by his parents to protect his voice.
So you have no testosterone, right?
Exactly. Not just no testosterone.
So do you still bust nuts?
I mean, me? I don't think so.
Well, Joe, since you're busy and this letter is fake, let me clarify a few things for you regarding your comments about Michael Jackson. You are extremely confused about a person's sexual function after removing their testicles. That's not a criticism, it's a learning opportunity. I dare say after as many lessons as you've given me, I already knew not to eat a horse's butthole, but thanks, Fear Factor. It's time I return the favor. At the time of the recording, Joe confessed he hadn't seen the documentary, in part because he didn't need to. When Joe's guest, Brendan Schaub, expressed astonishment at the idea that people suspected Michael Jackson of abusing children all along, Joe couldn't help but laugh. Joe was old enough to remember creepy shit about Michael Jackson from way back when. "Just trust me," he says. For Joe and Brendan, the question stops being about whether Michael Jackson abused children. The best case scenario is that he was so traumatized that he retained the mental, emotional, and sexual maturity of an 8-year-old child. But that still wouldn't make it okay for Michael to sleep with children. For Joe and Brendan, the question becomes not whether the abuse happened, but how Michael Jackson abused children and what biological drive might have motivated him to engage in explicitly sexual behavior. And it's here that Joe misses what might be obvious if he had trans experiences outside of his relentless pursuit of masculinity. Wait. Doesn't Mr. Rogan take HRT? You mean to tell me that hormones are store-bought too? Joe, welcome to the family. Listen, a lot of women once had testicles, now they don't. A lot of men once had testicles, now they don't. It affects a lot less than you think. Joe just can't get over, however, how someone with zero testosterone would have a sex drive, not how they could have a healthy libido or, as in this case, physical urges for inappropriate behavior toward innocent children. In Joe's discussion with Brendan, I heard the same constrained experience of sexuality that a lot of men have, even in barbaric times of war. Combatants fought to maim and kill but hesitated to go for another man's manhood. The idea was that killing them was war, but if they survived, he couldn't take their manhood. When Joe talks about the experience of sex, be that his own or Michael Jackson's, he doesn't focus on the wrong things necessarily. He's just facing the same thing a lot of cishet people face. Their experience of their orientation, sexuality, and body is far narrower than they realize. So narrow that it prevents them from seeing what's just a little bit to the left of what they said. If you're chemically castrated, Joe says, you can still inject testosterone. He's so focused on whether a castrated person can still retain the sexual functionality of a person with testicles that he's missing what's staring him in the face. Eunuchs still have a libido with or without injecting testosterone, and yes, eunuchs can still orgasm even if they can no longer ejaculate. For many women with trans experiences, non-binary people, and those men whose bodies are as fluid as their minds because we love our GNC community. Having and then not having testicles and testosterone doesn't remove the drive or ability to have and enjoy sex. No, really. Google how estrogen affects your sex drive. Once the people under discussion lose their testicles, their experience of sex expands into more than they thought possible. When they had testicles, sex was just as much or more about emptying their The feelings that came with attending to those organs might be good beyond relief, maybe even euphoric. For a person who experiences dysphoria from having testicles, however, the sense of relief they feel from an orgasm is only in part, if at all, sexual. It is instead mostly or entirely about relieving their dysphoria. A healthy person continues to experience sexuality regardless of whether they have testicles and/or testosterone. Their experience of their sexuality may change, but that happens as we grow older anyway. An asexual person may continue to have an asexual orientation. A pansexual person may continue to have a pansexual orientation. A heterosexual person may continue to have a hetero orientation. And a traumatized person may continue to act out that trauma.